Hey there, I'm Callan, and today I'm going to be giving kind of a rundown on how I do video editing and those type of things on my smartphone without needing to use a computer at all. So I recently did a video where I kind of broke down the type of hardware that I have, which allows me to do pretty much everything I need on my phone itself. And I got some requests from people to kind of go in and start talking about some of the software I'm using. So the stuff that I'm doing the most nowadays is kind of recording and editing video, and then creating thumbnails and stuff like that. So making artwork, editing photos, putting text on them, that type of thing. So I'm just going to give a quick rundown of that in this video. But first, for those who haven't seen the previous one, give a quick rundown on the actual hardware that I'm using. So here's my desk. This is called a Defender pad. This basically keeps magnetic radiation from laptops and stuff like that from passing through, so you don't damage any of your reproductive organs, that type of thing. Then I have a keyboard which connects to my phone wirelessly and folds up, very compact. Then I have a Bluetooth mouse, which Android phones, I know for sure, they can use a pointer just like a computer, and actually it's very handy. So there's that, and that's all just sitting on my lap, and I'm sitting cross-legged on the ground. And then here, I'll get a different angle and kind of show you how the phone is set up where I am. So here's a view of my office at the moment, at least, and you can see this is where I'm sitting. I sit cross-legged and put that on my legs. And then my phone is attached to this neck here, which I just clip onto a branch, or basically anything sturdy that I can find, and that basically means I can sit wherever I want. And I am out in the middle of nowhere, and so it's kind of nice to be able to work wherever I want. And this light, it keeps my face illuminated when I'm doing video calls, especially when it's later at night. And then this battery pack you see hanging here, it actually powers both the light and the phone. And that battery pack can charge my phone, I think 5-6 times if it was at full charge. And I charge it using this solar panel here. So this thing, it charges USB, can charge 2 things at once, and it just folds up. And Velcros, and it just fits really snugly into a backpack. So that's the quick rundown on the hardware situation. Now let's start looking at the software a little bit. So first of all, of course, there's the actual recording of the video, and smartphones these days are very qualified for the job. The phone that I'm using, the Pixel 2 XL, records in 4K, which is well beyond what I actually need. So I don't even record at that level because the files just get too big to upload. I'm at the point where I think it's necessary to have that level of quality. If you are going to be using software other than the default Android camera, there's one that I would recommend. It's called Open Camera, and it is open source, which means that you can go and read the code, you can contribute to the community, you can make suggestions, and it's also free. So I tend to support open source software when I can. So now let's take a look at the actual video editing software. So here I am in the video editor which I choose to use, called Kinmaster, and I've used a lot of video editors for the Android, and this is the best one I can find so far. I do tend to prefer to use open source software because it's free and I can read the code and verify that there's no nefarious activity going on, but currently there aren't any good open source video editors, so I use this one. And this is by far the best from my perspective. It's super easy to use, and I can do almost all of the things that I would want to do on a basic video editor on my PC. So I just create a new project. I click on media, I go to my camera, and I'm going to add a picture, and I'll add a little video. Let's just say that's it. So I'll just do a picture and a video. So here's the picture, and it plays for 5 seconds, and I can reduce how long that is just by dragging, right? And then same over here. So let's say it's starting earlier than I actually want to. I can actually go farther into the point where I want to start. I can put in a transition by clicking this thing between the picture and the video. There's tons of different options here, but I like to go with just the standard dissolve, crossfade. The hardware I'm using. So there's tons of things you can do here. You can split out the audio, and you can even record voiceover over the video if you want. You can add layers, so this is the layer section. There's just a huge amount of features, and it's crazy how much they're able to squeeze in here. So I can add media, I can add effects, I can add overlays, text, handwriting over the video. This is where I would record while I was watching the video to kind of add audio to it. This is where you would add songs and stuff like that, and if I wanted to edit the audio on a certain clip, right, I can change the relative volume, all that stuff. So basically got everything you need to kind of do a video setup. I mean, if you're trying to put out motion picture movies, you might want to get something a little more robust, but this does pretty much everything you need for like basic social media. So once I have my video made, I use an application called Slow Player, which is the application you're looking at right now, to pick a frame from the video that I want to use as my thumbnail, or use in my thumbnail. So you can see here it's playing, and I can change the speed at which it is playing, and I can go one frame at a time, and then I can click and take a picture, and I'll use that picture as my starting point for the thumbnail. Now once I have a thumbnail, I need to edit it in an application that would be sort of like Photoshop or something like that, something that has layers. So just to kind of jump to the chase, I'm going to load a project which I've already made, but this is an application which I enjoy called Multi-Layer. And here's the thumbnail that I use for making this is the project I use for making my thumbnails for Speak Freely TV, where I have conversations with other people. You can see this is kind of a base. You can see me here on the left and on the right, and these are each separate layers, and then there's also a frame around it. So you can see I can hide the frame, I can hide Rich here, I can hide Rich and make someone else show up, right? So every time I make a new person, I can just leave it in this project, and anytime I have a conversation with them again, I just hide everyone else, unhide that person, and I've got the base for my thumbnail. So after that, I believe I can add, there's a lot you can do in this application, but I wasn't a fan of the text editing, so I actually found another application which I enjoy better than that. So once I get to this point, I export this as just a normal image file, and then I open it in the next application. So here's that application. It's called Pixel Lab, and I just brought in the image that I had just exported, and then I started adding text over the top. So all of these things here you can see, these are individual things of text, which I can edit the visual aspects of them. I can change the font, I can change the background behind them, like the border of each letter, but I can also add, so you can see this red here is actually just part of the text. I just gave it a background, put a little bit of a curve on the corners. That's how I created this. So this application is very handy when you're trying to do text editing, which you think looks fancy. So once I have the final video file and the final thumbnail that I want, I basically have everything that I need to upload a video to pretty much any video site that I want. So, and I like to upload it to lots of different places. So not just YouTube, but also DTube and BitChute and places like that. So, and you can do all of that from your phone. So let's say all of these you can upload from a browser, but let's say that you're having trouble because the mobile version of that site doesn't do very well when it's in kind of mobile mode. You can, in most browsers, you can go in the upper right and click the setting that says go to desktop mode, and it will make the website think that you're running on a desktop, and it'll give you all of those features. So you'll have access to all the uploading and all of the video editing and things like that. So that's kind of the quick rundown on how I'm doing video editing on my smartphone out in the middle of nowhere, which is where I am right now. All I really need to do my job is some sunlight for the solar panel, and when I need to upload it, I just need to be someplace where I can connect to the wireless network, which I can do right here, even though I'm out in the kind of the wilderness where I haven't seen anyone drive by for several days. So I'm still connected even though I'm pretty remote. So if you are interested in more details on each of those individual applications and how I use them, just request them and I'll make a quick video kind of going into how I use it specifically and sort of tips and tricks focusing on each one. But for now, I think it'll do. Those applications are pretty easy to learn. You can get them all on the Android Play Store. Some of them do cost a little bit of money, like the kinmaster is I think a subscription of a certain amount of money a month or something like that. But my impression so far has been it's well worth it. It's actually not that expensive. So eventually, hopefully, all of these applications are open source so that we know what it's doing behind the scenes, and it's free and supported by the community. But in the meantime, there are definitely good options out there for kind of the more proprietary type options. So thanks for stopping by and seeing how I make videos on my smartphone out in the middle of nowhere. And again, if you want to know more, just let me know and I'll make a video about it. And if you want to see more of the stuff that I'm doing, just go to callan.io. Instead of .com, it's .io. So callan.io. You'll see all of my posts. And if you want to check out a cool project that I'm kind of trying to start right now called speakfreely.tv, just go to speakfreely.tv instead of .com, speakfreely.tv, and you'll see some of the videos that I'm making, kind of encouraging people to have authentic, vulnerable conversations about things that they care about. And currently I'm the only one doing that, but if you're interested in doing that as well, there are instructions on how to do that if you go to about.speakfreely.tv. So, and also if you want to have a conversation with me, just give me an email. My information is down below in the description, and I'd happily have a conversation with you on Speak Freely TV. Just let me know what you want to talk about and when you're available. All right, so thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.